YouTube. I'm Mrs. Dr. Lupo.
And I'm Sam, and today we're talking about time management.
Funny enough, we are even working on time management ourselves because this is technically at the end of this video. But Steve, you're cutting it to the front. If you guys want to watch us live and see all of our silly shenanigans every single Friday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific on Twitch.
Or if you want to see more magical content here, make sure to like and subscribe.
The end. Okay, bye.
The end. So, Sam, you want to talk about what's going to go on today? How's today also different?
Today's also different because one, we had to pivot last minute for today.
Yeah.
And two, the merch is launching during Magic Word.
Yeah, which is a big reason why we had to pivot. So if y'all have heard us talk about it anywhere, we were supposed to have both of our husbands today for our Father's Day special. It'll just be a late Father's Day special, as it already was actually.
Right.
So it'll happen when it happens. But yeah, today we're going to talk about time management, which I think flows perfectly with this because how do we do it? how do we pivot?
Sometimes I don't know. Like it was to the point that Ben had already agreed to do the show today. And I reminded him, I was like, hey, we're going to do this time to this time. So that way you're done and you have an hour before the merch launch to like hype people up in your channel. And he's like, oh, it's the same day as the merch launch?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. He said, I can't do that. So I messaged Sam and I was like, so we can't have our show because, whatever.
But this means next time.
Yeah, there you go. It's already planned. And we're also going to be on front page on July 2nd. That's like
next Friday.
That's next Friday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy heck.
Next Friday, hopefully if Ben doesn't like pivot himself another day, we'll have front page next Friday. And so the times for Magic World will be shifted just a little bit. But a
little later, right? 9.
Yeah, it'll be
9.
Well,
no, we'll still be starting 8:30. Right?
Well, no, it's 9 to 11 is
yeah,
specific.
But like we'll start
30
minutes early.
Yes, exactly.
Just to make sure we're live.
Yeah, so it's just smack dab in the middle of what our.
Oh no, Dax says he'll pivot next time. No, I'll come in there and make sure you don't.
Twitch is promoting talk shows and podcasts all throughout the month of July, and we are the second or third one to be promoted. The only other one that I recognized on there was DCP Live as well. Oh. So yeah, they're later on in the month, but I was pretty excited for that.
Also, if y'all haven't caught on, we don't have a show really written today, so we're just gonna be all over the place. This is just gonna be really chit chatty. So talk to us and we'll talk back.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
But let's see. Time management. Are you good at it?
I like to think that I am. It's definitely come over time, but I'm a big schedule keeper. Because if I don't write things down as soon as I get told a time or a date, then I forget immediately. So I heavily rely on my calendar personally. And I actually even missed a sponsorship yesterday. We were able to shift it to later in the day, thank God, because I didn't write it down. Like I remember discussing it and everything, but because I did not write it down, because I check my schedule every morning, oops. So I want to say 99% of the time I'm really good at it. Like even with my streams, if I don't start at 8:30 on the dot, there's something wrong. I'm probably just still doing my hair. What about you?
I as well would like to say that I am fairly good with time management, as at least when it comes to being on time. That's a big thing for me. If it takes like 20 minutes to get somewhere and we're leaving past that time, so it's like we only have 15 minutes to get there, I'm freaking out because I feel like I'm letting the people that I'm meeting down. Same. So for Ben, I don't know, the older that he's gotten, he's just like way more lax about it. We used to be one of the first people to every family gathering, like right on time within the minute. And now I'm like, it takes us 20 minutes to get there. And so when it's 20 minutes until, he starts putting his shoes on. And I'm like, we needed to be driving in the road. So now when he's like, all right, what time do we need to leave? And so I add like 10 minutes onto that.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so then I'm like, okay, we have to get there at 4. We're leaving here at 3:30, knowing that our family will leave here at 3:40 and it will take 20 minutes to get there.
Did we talk to the same man?
Maybe.
'Cause oh my gosh. I feel like if I'm not early somewhere, I'll even get somewhere like an hour early. Like if I'm driving to LA, I will literally get there an hour early just to make sure that I have fully avoided traffic.
Oh
And
my
then I'll sit
gosh.
there in my car and just either watch a show or listen to a podcast or respond to emails. Like I'll do work just in my car waiting for my appointment. That way I am there. And I think that it's because of basketball, because always on the door of our gym at my school, whenever we would go into basketball practice, it always said, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you're late. So I've always had in my head, if I'm early, it's the only time I'm on time.
I don't know if I'm that far ahead. But I
Bonkers.
kind of have like starting slash waiting anxiety. So I
Oh.
had a phone call yesterday at 4 and it was 3:40 when I got done with my stuff. And I was like, okay, I have 20 minutes till my phone call. Did I go do other stuff in those 20 minutes? No. I sat here just in case I missed the time for the 4 o'clock phone call. I sat here for
Mhm.
20 minutes. I didn't have any other work to do. So I just kind of bounced around the internet and deleted some emails and cleaned up my desk. But I could have like gone and done laundry, could have done the dishes. I could have,
Could've, but, like, it's fine. It's
but did but
justified.
that's for everything. That's for
Oh.
everything I do. It's not just that. It's I we had a trainer come over for Ico on Tuesday, and it was about 15 minutes before they're supposed to be here. And I sat here and watched out the window basically for 15 minutes.
Aw.
And it's just like and that's a new thing for me in 2020. When we talked with Cray, I'll crop this.
Mhm.
When we talked with
Yeah, sorry,
Cray
I'm fixing something.
and I was like, what'd you guys gain from the pandemic? And you guys are all like, taking time for myself and it's okay. And I was like, I gained anxiety. I have so much anxiety now. So time management, I've had to adjust how I've had to
Mhm.
do it in the past year because I don't know why. I don't know why now. So especially with Ben's like lack of
Mhm.
urgency to leave the house, I'm just like falling apart
Well,
internally.
okay, let's elaborate on that then, because you are also the one who manages Ben. So,
Yeah.
like, in a sense, nothing against this, like, towards Ben, but you manage his time as
Yes.
well as yours. So how do you do that? And not only that, but I feel like you should give yourself grace because you are managing 3 people at that point, because you almost got Charlie.
Yeah. I I get a lot of anxiety when Ben's like, I have
Yeah.
to go to the bathroom and we have a call in 5 minutes, knowing that he's not going to be down in time. And he's like, it'll be fine. And it'll be one past, like if the meeting's at 4 and it's 4:01. And I go in there,
Yeah.
I'm like, are you done yet? And he's like, no, sorry, I'll be a few minutes. And I was like, why'd you even try going to the bathroom?
Ben.
And it just, it is what it is. And
Mhm.
I have to adjust my expectations, I think is the biggest thing.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to
Is
put it.
I need to adjust my expectations from people. I can't expect everyone to be ready 5 to 10 minutes before like me.
Yeah.
I can expect people to be on time. I can expect to be understanding if somebody tells me ahead of time that they're going to be late. Now, if it is 4:05 and you message me and you're like, "Hey, I'm going to be a little late." Well, obviously, because you already are.
Whoa, what do you mean?
At that point, just tell me if you're coming or not, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Do you have your
and
schedules on the same, like, calendar?
we
Or do you have 2
used to
different ones
do
you have to
that,
check?
but since I have an iPhone and he has an Android,
Oh,
uh,
gross. How do you manage that? The
it's the
heck?
worst thing ever.
Ugh.
We used to use Google Calendar all the time, so I had everything in iCal, and then I put everything additionally in Google Calendar. And now that I run on a PC, I can't easily
Mhm.
put stuff in iCal on my computer anymore. So I don't really use it. But then I also have, it's not in here, I have a physical planner that I write everything down each week when I plan out my week as well. So it pretty much is when we have our meetings twice a week, I tell Ben everything that's going on. So he has like a vague idea. And
Uh-huh.
then the night before and the morning of, I tell him his schedule for the day.
There you
And
go.
and that's it. So for managing his time, we have it down. It's just my anxiety of, being prepared and on time um is the part that I just still struggle with
Yeah.
quite a bit. But as far as like my own personal time, I used to do, have you ever done calendar blocking?
Oh my gosh. I did actually for a convention. Actually, it was TwitchCon 2019. Was that the last TwitchCon? Yeah.
That was.
I did it for that because I had to, because I was a 2 minutes in between every single thing person.
Hmm.
That was a rough convention for me. I haven't used it since. Then again, 2020, I didn't really have to, and I haven't thought about doing it again. Yeah, that's my only really experience with it. Do you use that anymore or
I
often?
used to a ton, but then I realized that when I was calendar blocking that I would feel anxious going
Oh.
outside of the calendar block. So I did the
Mhm.
whole like wake up at 7, from 7 to 7:15 is get dressed, 7:15 to 7:30 is to eat breakfast. And I read a lot of books and watched a lot of videos about people that swear by this. And it was at a time in my life where I just felt like I was drowning. I was running my
Okay.
photography business.
Yeah.
I was obviously being a mom and taking care of our house. And then I was also running Ben's business. And then also trying to do like, my own personal stuff. And so I was like, calendar blocking is going to be it for me because I can know ahead of time that I am going to do everything. But
Mhm.
then, I didn't calendar block a nap, or I didn't calendar
Dang.
block Charlie taking too long to eat lunch. And so it just like turned into, I had so many variables that I couldn't properly calendar block my time.
I guess I've never used it for, like, a normal day situation, 'cause I couldn't
Some people
imagine
swear
that
by it.
relying on others. I don't know if I could. I mean, I feel like I already have, like, a pretty set schedule of work, but I don't know if I could schedule in, like, at this time during stream, I have to eat, 'cause
Right.
I'm bad at eating, we already know that. So, I'm just like, "Oh, whenever I feel like it." But I guess if maybe if you're not somebody, well, no, I was gonna say not somebody in this industry, but maybe could benefit people in this industry.
I
I just
think
don't know if I
some
could
people
calendar
could
block.
benefit from it, especially if
Yeah.
they're trying to get a consistent stream schedule going.
Mhm. Maybe that's
Uh,
why I don't think I need it. I'm already very consistent.
so if they needed to know that they had to wake up at 7 to start by 8:30, then they can say like from 7 to
Who's that?
8 is to get ready, and then from 8 to 8:30 maybe is when they eat or when they do stream setup for the day. Then 8:30 to 3:30 is, stream, and then from
Mhm.
3:30 to 5 is emails, but then you can also split that up and be like, I need to respond to social media between 3:30 to 4:30, or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah. There are moments
Um
that I respond, like, while I'm live. I'm like, "Hang on, got an email," because
yeah.
I don't have a you.
Right.
So I have to manage that on my own as well. Because if I am just sending stream to answer one email, I feel like that's silly. But thankfully, I do have Josh, and I'll usually forward something and be like, "Hey, can't read this right now. Can you interpret and give it to me in kindergarten?" And
Yeah.
he's like, "They want to give you this for this," and I'm
Explain
like,
to me
"All
like I'm
right,
5.
yeah, like, they'll send the spiel, and I'm just like, trying to be the boss right now. Josh, do this."
Yeah. Highlight the
So,
things that I need to know.
yeah. So, thankfully, I have that now, but there are moments where it's something that is just for me and I can interpret really quickly, and I'm just like, "Let me respond." Or it's like a direct, "Hey, we need you to do this," and I'm like, Okay."
Mhm. I guess.
But I do it all live, which that's another funny thing, like, time management with streaming while you're live. People think you're just there playing a video game in front of a
Mhm.
camera, But, like, no, you're reading chat, you're reading DMs that you're getting, you're handling your mod logs. A lot of times you have to keep an eye on social media. You've got your emails up.
And if you have a
You're
sponsor
making sure your
thing,
bots are working, yeah, and then you've got, like, your list of deliverables, things you need to say, make sure commands are working, like, speaking of, it's like a whole command center behind the scenes, like, y'all aren't seeing anything but our faces
but
and, well, now
what
the
the camera
microphone, but,
sees.
like yeah,
Because you have 3
so it's
monitors
not
or 2?
I have 3,
You have
4th would
3.
be nice. But it's just it's chaos, and to hold your composure while you're dealing with so much other stress. Do you think
Mhm.
that that's, like, helped you with managing stuff because of all the additional stress that you already know how to handle?
I mean,
Do you
I've
find it
always
easier?
been and I'm trying and this is something that I'm actually really trying to break free from, but in this situation, I think it merits itself. I'm
Mm,
trying to break free from the notion that I am defined by the bad things that have happened to me. Like,
that's a good
I
thing to
don't want
do.
to say, "Hi, I'm Sam. A lot of bad shit happened to me, and that's why I'm the way I am."
If you introduced your way that way to me, I would've been like, "Oh, not
But
someone
I
I vibe
do,
with."
kind of, right?
Well,
Like
I mean, you didn't come up to me like I'm Sam and
I
I'm
know, but I
but I
almost
accepted.
say, I almost say with pride sometimes that like I had a shitty childhood. Man, but I'm
Yeah,
here and I'm strong and I'm standing and I have businesses and a family and kids, all this kind of stuff. Um,
I'm so
but
proud of you, sis.
because of the stress of just having a tumultuous, is that how you say that? Tumultuous?
Yeah.
Yeah. A crazy up
Absolutely.
and down roller coaster life, I feel like I can handle stress to a certain point, and then I can't. And then and then I'm just like, you're holding up the wall, all the water's leaking around, and
Yeah.
you're like, this is fine. I'm totally fine if I get damp. But then at a certain point, you're like, I'm drowning. Why am
You're a
I still
sponge.
holding up the wall?
Yeah, you're a sponge. So you're absorbing all of this stress to the point where eventually the sponge gets full and it needs to leak out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean, that's okay. That is definitely a life roller coaster, but I'm sure I mean, like, I feel like I know that everything that you've gone through, that I've gone through, that people go through has definitely helped you with definitely who you are and how you manage stressful situations. So, I mean, thanks, past.
Yeah.
You help me now.
Thanks, crappy things.
Yeah, thanks,
Hell
appreciate you. Don't happen again, but, like, appreciate you
yeah. Yeah.
from, like, a future standpoint.
Exactly. In chat, a lot of bad things happen to just about everyone here. True.
Mhm.
Um, but also I have a lot of friends that just have pretty generic childhoods and growing up
Yeah,
because they like their parents didn't fight, they didn't have any kind of abuse in their life. They had friends, got good grades, did their thing, won sports, went to college, got a degree, found
yeah.
a significant other, married kids, and they're there.
Which doesn't
There's
mean that you don't know how to handle things now either,
Exactly. And maybe they
but we
had
just had
stresses
different
of it in a
paths.
different way. Maybe they had stresses
Mhm.
that they felt like they needed to get straight A's.
Yeah, maybe they had a lot of pressure
Yeah.
or, like, be the best athlete or get
So
into this
maybe not a lot of
college.
bad things happened to them, but they had a different kind of impact on their life. The biggest thing for me is time managing things I like to do and
Ooh, I never
making
thought about it
sure.
like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's doing things that you enjoy is just another scheduled thing, right?
Mhm.
So why not actually put it on your schedule? I do that.
Yeah.
I love to exercise and lift and work out. So I wish I would have brought my book in here. Um,
What book?
my calendar, my bullet journal.
Oh my gosh, speaking of books, the one that I can't say the title of,
Oh yes, we'll talk about that in
subtle
a little
subtle
bit.
art.
Are you done with it?
I'm not done, I'm not done.
Okay.
I've been taking my time because I've definitely been absorbing it,
Okay.
but, like go on.
Okay. But in my planner, when I sit down every Sunday because I plan my week Monday through Sunday. And I sit down every Sunday and plan out my week and get my grocery list and all my meal plan and stuff like that. And we'll
Mhm.
talk about ways that we time manage ourselves to make our lives easier during the week too later. But I'll write in like Mondays I go on a walk. So I write from 9:30 to 10:30. I'm going on a walk with my sister-in-law Lynn. And Tuesday mornings from 8:30 to 9, I lift with a group of friends. And Thursday mornings from 8:30 to 9, I lift with a group of friends. Sundays from 10:30 to 11:30, I do yoga or some kind of stretching with that same group of friends. And that's in there because if it's not on my schedule, then I feel like it's not important to me.
I feel that.
So I'll even put like trash, like taking the trash out, because then I look at it and I'm like, oh, I can just do it later. But if it's on my schedule, then I am holding myself accountable, and I'm creating that discipline to just get it done. So I have to clean the yard every Tuesday night because Wednesday mornings is when they mow. It's in my book. It's in my calendar for the days. Tuesday night after Charlie goes to bed, go out and pick up dog crap and make sure all the toys are out of the yard so they don't mow over it because they don't care. They just bring their mowers through and whatever.
And getting poop cleaned everywhere.
That's the biggest thing for me is to put as much importance on trivial things than other things like work, right? And obviously answering emails and streaming and writing magic word and all that kind of stuff. Those things are really important and things that have to get done. But also picking up dog poop has to get done too. And neither one is more or less important than the other. It all is part of the well-oiled machine that is the Lupo household.
Yeah, I mean, and you are the well oil of the
Try to be.
machine. You are. You do so much, and I guess like that's definitely a difference for us. I don't tend to have to schedule household stuff anymore, because I'm working full time, literally right here in my box. And thankfully, the my brother and my husband are able to take care of the house. So I guess like I feel like I don't have to block out so much anymore unless it's like meetings and stuff. But I know
Yeah,
it's
so where
gonna
do you
be
feel
here, like in my box.
where do you feel like is the gap in your time management then? Like where do you feel like you're missing?
Um, I feel like personal time with my family is my gap. Um, the struggle is with this industry in particular, 5 o'clock isn't always the end time of a day.
Mhm.
Um, which sucks.
At least it is in your time
So
zone,
for
roughly.
the most part,
For the most
there
part.
are some that I've had 7 o'clock, and I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah. For me,
And
it's
it's
7
10 p.m.
o'clock
for
here
you.
when it's 5 o'clock where you are. And I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
already done eating dinner and I'm hunkered down with a show and watching stuff with my
Uh-huh.
kid. I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times I have to sacrifice, like, if I do have to do things a little bit later, I have to sacrifice my sleep, and that is something I have scheduled, and I'm very strict on my bedtime because I just like you, I live with chronic illness that makes me very fatigued, and if I'm not getting well rest, then I am not working well throughout the day as well. So that is something that I enjoy and need to do. So I schedule that. Now there are moments that I do push it, but I'm mindful of it. It's like, what do I have the next day or things like that. Um, gosh, yeah, weekends are why I'm super strict on not streaming.
Hmm.
And if it happens, it's so far and few between, like maybe twice a year, because that is my family time. Because during the week, I feel like I see my son and my husband in passing in the hallway. I'm like, love you, quick hug, kiss. And then I just kinda hear about it at dinner, and then that's about it, and it's time for me to start prepping for bed, waking up again and doing it all the same. But that's my Monday through Friday. So, Saturdays, I kinda keep as like a whatever happens. Or if we've already planned something like going to the zoo, it's like, "Okay, we're gonna go at this time, and then we'll have dinner potentially at this time." Or if I am going to LA to hang out with some friends, then I have to schedule those things out. 'Cause driving home, I have to drive home at, like, 10 PM to avoid traffic. So, I have to schedule that whole day to make sure that it is a proper day, um, so I can go home later. So, once again, I think I'm really good at managing my time, when it comes to work, I'll say.
Do
Home
you
life is a
feel
little bit
like
different.
do you feel like that they're using the analogy of a well-oiled machine? You
Okay.
feel like there's multiple machines that you are constantly working on,
Yeah.
constantly maintaining yourself, your
Yeah.
family, and your job.
Because in the
And
end, I'm mom. I'm a wife. I'm a creator. I'm, lack of a better term, business owner.
yeah.
Just that I'm a transformer. I'm a lot of cars building up into one.
So you hear a lot of people that say that, I'm going to ignore everybody tonight and I'm going to do self-care and stuff like
No.
that. And it just like, it's funny that you brought up, I'll say the title of the book because you don't want to. It's funny that you brought up The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Because last time that we weren't even on stream when you ordered that, were you?
No, we were in
No,
a call. I think
we
we were
were
talking
just
about
on
the
a
magic
phone
word.
call together.
Mhm.
And I was talking to Sam about the book again, and she was just like, "Fine, I'm just gonna order it." Like,
I need to get it. I'm tired of hearing about it. I want to
Yeah.
know.
And what really annoys me is when a lot of people are like, I'm gonna go treat myself to shopping because self-care, and I'm gonna, paint my nails because self-care, and I'm going to take a bath tonight because self-care.
I did
You're
paint mine this morning.
yeah,
Well, that's just
but
because I had too much time because I woke up at 3.
because you wanted to and it made you feel
Yeah, it wasn't
good.
self-care.
It
This
was
was just like,
it's
let's do
a lot of
something.
people use self-care as an excuse. You're the perfect example for not using it as an excuse. You take a bath literally every single night.
Yeah, that's not just self-care. That's just great
That's
hygiene.
just but
And it feels
that's
good on
just
my
because
muscles after
that's
working all day.
you, right? And
Mhm.
so we talked about subtle art of not giving a fuck. Mark Manson on Instagram, favorite count to follow, and he just posted a couple days ago what self-care really looks like. One, limiting your exposure to toxic people, toxic information, and toxic environments. This means learning to say no. This means learning how to be fine on your own. This
Yeah.
also goes into time management, right? Saying no to people. Definitely have to do that.
Yeah, increasing your
do
knowledge.
the unpleasant, unsexy habits. We talked about this. Pick up dog poop. Go to bed at a reasonable hour. Stay in on a Wednesday night. Pay off your credit cards. Floss. It's not sexy, but it has to be done.
Mhm.
Challenge yourself regularly. When people think of self-care, they think it means getting away from life, but self-care means enriching your life with interesting challenges that force you to grow. So it shouldn't be like, I'm going to ignore everything today because I work too hard and I'm going to do self-care. No, you should just do it every day because you know that it's important for your mental well-being.
Yeah. I think at that point, you're just telling yourself a lie.
Yeah. Have difficult conversations. The quality of your life is proportional to the quality of your relationships. Take care of those relationships by having the uncomfortable conversations that result in trust and respect.
Mm-hmm.
Rest. You don't need to book a $500 spa treatment to rest. You don't
Go
need
to
to have
bed.
a selfie in a hammock in the Caribbean to rest. Rest means rest. It can be on your couch, your bed, on the floor, or in the arms of someone you care about. Ben and I have started this thing recently. Ben read somewhere that on average, the human being needs 8 to 12 hugs a day to feel connected to, and it doesn't have to be like a hug, but just like some kind of human contact 8 to 12 times a day. Mm-hmm. And then I read elsewhere that a 2-minute long hug with somebody you care about deepens your relationship more than having an hour-long conversation.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know if I fully agree with that. Because
So
that's like my least
I think it depends, right? So
love language. I don't really want to be touched.
So, but maybe that's like you and Leif cuddling and watching a show.
Okay,
but you're like on full body contact cuddling for 2 minutes. In that moment, your cup can be filled faster than having an hour-long deep conversation with somebody.
Okay, maybe I see that then.
Maybe it's
me
before,
and Eric snuggling watching Bake Off.
Yeah. Maybe you just had a really, really rough day and you need to lean on Eric, and you just lean on him and he hugs you for a long time while you just let all of your stress come out while you're just talking into his shoulder. That 2 minutes is more stress relief than spewing on for an hour of conversation. that's kind of how they're comparing the two of them.
Okay, I see that now.
Maybe it's not a hug for you because, like you said, you don't really like to be touched. Maybe it's
I like hugs, but I don't think I could deal with 2 minutes.
I don't think I could hug you. I don't think I could hug you for 2 minutes. But I think I could definitely prolong hug you and feel like a whole year of not seeing you has been filled up.
I will say the few like hugs of friends that I've finally been able to see, those hugs are longer than any hugs that I've ever really had, and they feel so good because it's like that we've been through so much. Like we're still alive.
Or maybe if you don't like being hugged, then it's you're holding hands with somebody. And it's just that moment of you both know that you're purposely and physically doing this to connect with each other can be more than sitting across from each other on a couch and talking about your day. Like they did a whole scientific study, and I'll just try to see if I can find it, about how your brain lights up when you hug somebody you care about versus when you're sitting there and talking to them. And your brain lights up faster and stronger when you're hugging somebody.
Dang, I've never thought about that. You're gonna have to send me this.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it again. And then I don't remember.
Because I love hugs. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. So
prolonged ones I've never thought about.
So Ben and I recently have been really trying super hard to hit 8 to 12 hugs a day. Not necessarily just with us, but with Charlie. Or if Ben's mom is here, Ben makes sure that he gives her a big hug before she goes home. Stuff like that. If it's at the end of the day and Ben just doesn't, because his main love language is physical touch. If he just doesn't feel like he got a lot of that, then we'll just lay in bed and hold hands for a few minutes before we go to bed. And for him, that like he's overflowing with feeling like he's getting cared for and attention for. And we have to manage that time to make that happen. Right? Yeah. It definitely is something that I have to. I know I'm washing dishes and Ben's like, all right, I'm going to go downstairs and start working. I could just say, all right, bye. And he could just go downstairs, or he can come by and I can give him a quick peck kiss or whatever. But recently, the past week or so, it really only has been like maybe about 2 weeks now, that I will stop. I'll dry my hands and we'll hug each other for about 30 seconds. And I'll tell him, like, I hope you have a really good day. Me hopes I have a really good day. Then I remind him of anything that he needs for work. And then, we disconnect and then he goes downstairs. But it's so easy for me to just be like, okay, bye. I don't need to make sure that I put time in to take care of my relationships. And it's just such a weird thing. I'm not putting that on my calendar blocking, but
Eric, you hear that? I'm hugging you more. Get ready.
There was an episode of Bluey, and I hate that I learned so many life lessons from Bluey.
It's a kid show, right?
It's a kid show. It is the greatest kid show I've ever seen in my whole entire life. It's Australian, so it's not like super flashy, annoying like American cartoons are.
Hey, the Wiggles, they know what's up.
Yeah, but it's not annoying. That's the thing. Is Ben and I have always been very adamant about watching non-annoying kid shows. So we watched like The Hive. That is a British show. We watched Sarah and Duck, another British show. Paw Patrol. We don't find Paw Patrol too annoying because we just play along with it. But we refuse to watch annoying shows with Charlie. So Bluey, there is an episode of Bluey where Dad is taking the youngest daughter, Bingo, to school. And but they're running late, and he has to take the oldest daughter, Bluey, to her separate school. So they get to preschool for Bingo, and he's like, all right, okay, bye. Have a good day. Whatever. Yeah, right. And Bingo stops, and she's like, Dad, you have to wind me up. And he's like, sorry, kid. We got to go. We're late. He's like, she's like, how am I supposed to get into the door? And so Dad takes a second. He's like, all right, okay, I'll wind you up. It's their own little thing. And then she pretends she's a little toy robot, and she's like, okay, bye. And she waddles into school because that's what they do all the time. And Bluey in the car was like, Dad, if you wouldn't have winded up Bingo, would we be late? It's like, well, not as late, but I just did it. And she's like, I'm glad you did it because if we were already going to be late and it took you less than 10 seconds to wind Bingo up and make her day, why wouldn't you do it, kind of thing. And there's so many moments where I'm like,
so
okay,
cute.
Charlie, you need to put your pajamas on. And he's like, okay, I want to pretend that. And I used to always cut him off and be like, no, just put your pajamas on. Like, dude, literally just put one leg in and the other leg in and pull them up and let's call it a day. But I've been having to manage my time for what's like, does it really throw off things that much if I spend an extra 30 seconds to a minute playing a game with Charlie while he puts his pajamas on?
Yeah. I mean, and that's a part of patience, and patience is literally learning time management.
I think
in its
that
own right.
they go hand in hand, 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've never had too much trouble with cutting Leif off, but Eric and I have had this conversation because, he's the more stern side and I'm the more like, yeah, no, let's do it. Because I don't have that time with him anymore, I feel like I want to devour everything he has to say. Like, I just want to consume it because it's all I get. And so anytime somebody cuts him off, I'm like, no, stop. Let my boy speak.
He can tell me
even
all
if it's
the stories he wants
nothing,
to.
yeah, I mean, there are moments that Leif will literally talk in circles and say the same thing 50 times, and
Oh,
we're
yeah.
like, okay, buddy, it's time to move on.
That's enough.
Yeah, he keeps talking about how I think we're talking about Harry Potter, and then I don't remember what we were saying exactly, but then the name Jimmy came up, and Leif was like, "Is there a Jimmy in Harry Potter?" And I was like, "I mean, no, there's a James." And he was like, "Jimmy should be in Harry Potter." And he like it was the funniest thing to him. He keeps saying it over and over. And this was on Father's Day that he said it first. And last night he said it again. He was like, "You know what, Mom?" I was like, "What?" "Jimmy should be in Harry Potter." Like, okay, stop.
Charlie's
Now
big
he's just
thing.
being cheeky.
Yeah, Charlie's big thing is he has an imaginary friend named Foxy. Foxee, and he's a raccoon.
Ooh,
Right?
love.
I don't know. He used to have another imaginary friend, and thankfully that imaginary friend kind of disappeared for the most part, named Amazon
Was it a bad
Robo.
friend?
Yes, it was a bad friend.
Oh, what?
Amazon Robo was a bad robot that always did things that got in trouble. And he would use that as an excuse for why he would do things because Amazon Robo did them and he thought they were cool.
Leif had that too.
And
he didn't
so
name a friend, but
recently Amazon Robo has kind of, been away for a long time, thankfully.
okay.
But Foxy has everything under the sun. Foxy does all the things. Foxy's been to space.
Ooh.
And climbed a mountain. Foxy also owns every single toy and video game that Charlie ever has dreamed of in his head. Foxy also owns a town that is full of police stations. Like
That's it. That's all that's in the town.
Foxy's pretty cool, and we like when Foxy comes around. So much so that we've talked about us writing a children's book. Foxy, if it happens, Foxy will be hidden somewhere.
Is that the? Oh, okay. So that's not what your fox is.
No. That's Max. Foxy is a raccoon.
Ooh, I wonder if Foxy will make an appearance.
Who knows? Maybe he'll just be like hiding in a tree or something like that.
So funny, the fox talking to a raccoon named Foxy.
Foxy, right? And I was
I'm here
like,
for that.
I told Ben, I'm like, we will have to change the name of Foxy if he does come into the book because that will be super confusing.
Moxie.
But Foxy has two friends called Racky and Rackers, and they get into mischief, and they get Foxy in trouble. So it's like RACCY and RACCERS, Racky and Rackers.
Charlie's brain is so good. Sorry, excuse me.
No, you're good.
3 a.m.
We're gonna have a yawn chain.
Bad idea. Don't wake up that early. Yeah, tell your brain to stop.
So back to time management. If you do you have anything that you do that helps you throughout the week? And if you can't think of anything, I can throw off an example.
Yeah, no, it's really just writing in my schedule and checking it every single
Okay.
morning.
I mean, that is even a thing. Is
Mm.
I check my schedule the night before, and I kind of plan out my day, and then that
Mhm.
morning I go through and refine my day just in case something has changed.
Yep. Yeah,
I
same. I do it the night before and then the day of.
I meal plan.
Oh, see, I don't.
Yeah, but I mean, you are the one that's doing the cooking and the grocery
No.
shopping, correct?
But there are, like, in my household, so I have, definitely more vegetarian these days because my body doesn't process meat right anymore, or at least for now. It's been a learning curve for the family because they like to make foods that, one, I just don't like anymore. Like, surprise, Americans, pizza and spaghetti are, like, on the bottom of my list of favorite foods.
Pizza's so
Um
good.
I wish I liked it more. I just don't. And so, but things that I like may not be what the family loves. Like I love making kimchi jjigae, so it's like tofu and kimchi and rice and like pepper sauce. Like it's spicy and but it's because I can make it vegetarian and it's really hearty or things in that realm. So a lot of times it's not even their fault. It's because I can't decide because they'll come in here and be like, Sam, what do you want for dinner? And I'm like, I don't know. It's breakfast time. I have no idea what I want to eat now, let alone later. So they usually do what they're feeling. And sometimes then I'm just left to figure it out later. Or I'll just have one of my meal shakes because that always works out for me. Food is something that I do not manage well.
Mm.
So my time management for that is bad, but it's my body's just going through something right now and I can't really control it.
Yeah.
So I'm just dealing with.
So every Sunday, I write out 7 meals and then 2 additional meals that I can create for lunches. So
Mm.
I come up with 9 meals a week. I have a master list. Again, I wish I would have brought my dang book. Should I just go find it? I think it's
Yeah,
out
go
on the
find it.
counter. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go get it. All right.
Mm.
I could like. Here's my master list of meals. It says noms.
It's so cute that look at you using your stationery.
It's in blue, but for some reason it's showing up as green because I
Oh,
don't know.
I felt to say it looks gold.
Nope, it's technically a very bright like ocean blue. I'm blocking
Oh.
this other stuff over here. But here's the master list. I sat down with Ben, and these are all the meals that our family likes.
Mm.
And if we have a new one, we add on to it, and that's why we've gotten all the way down here to the bottom.
Nice,
I even kind of spread it out, like all of the Mexican food that we like. So tacos, nachos, enchiladas are all together. And all the breakfast stuff that we like: pancakes, waffles, breakfast bowls, burritos, Americana, hamburgers, hot dogs, corn dogs, pizza,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff is in here. And then let me find you a week I can show you.
Yeah, I want to see.
So
I
this
need
is
to
this week.
learn this.
Can't look at my actual schedule because there's personal stuff in here. So I write I wish I could like flip this around.
I think they get the gist of it.
That doesn't have like personal information on it. All right. So we
Okay, good
have
though.
meals. So all my meals plus my 2 lunches are on here. And then here's all the food that I need to order for the week to get those.
Do you have like not really time scheduled in, but moments scheduled in just in case you want something else? Like even though today is scheduled for tacos, but
I
y'all are
don't
really feeling
specifically,
pasta.
yeah, I don't specifically say like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever. I just get it knowing that it will be a meal for the week. So like we had salmon and potatoes, and I order all my food on Mondays. So we had that on Tuesdays, even though it's first on my
Gotcha.
list. Like there's really there might be specific ones. Like tonight we're having friends over, or family over, and we're gonna have steak and broccoli. So I put a little F on it because I know that that's gonna be Friday. And actually, I put a little T next to the salmon because I know that that's something that my mother-in-law really likes to eat. So I made sure that it happens on Tuesday. And then the other ones, are just in there. There was a night that I missed dinner, so the boys just kind of had what they wanted around the house. So one of these meals is just going to get pushed to the next week. Probably hot dogs and French fries and fruit. And then I always make sure that I have meals that are easy. I refuse to make any meal that takes more than 30 minutes.
Yeah, you're like the queen of that, which is so
Sometimes it'll take
cool.
45. So we're eating by 5:45, but we're almost always eating, if I start at 5, eating around 5:30. And
5:30 is our dinner time too.
And that's just what it is. And then that's part of the time management. I don't have time to spend an hour and a half making some fancy meal, but I can sure as heck make a fancy meal in 30 minutes.
You can too.
And yeah, it just is something like that's how I have to manage that out. And then even in here, I have like Monday, I have walk, trash, and cleaning company because I know that that's all important things, and that's in there. Tuesday, lifting. Wednesday.
So do you schedule like friend time? Like how do you manage your friendships and in industry or in person or ones that are just far away?
I try to put them together with something else. So like my lifting group that we do Tuesdays and Thursdays and Sundays, those are a lot of my mod friends. And when Sam gets air conditioning, hopefully you can rejoin us.
Girl.
And so I do that. And we hang out with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law every single Friday night. Ben and I have date nights, 1 to 2 nights a week outside of that as well. Ben manages his time with his brothers by every other Sunday evening. He plays video games with them. He might see and talk to them in between there, but that's like a scheduled thing. As far as like with my other friendships, especially ones that are here, we're all just so busy that I at least try to connect with them once a month.
Yeah.
And that's it. So,
I mean, I feel that most of my friends that I have are all from the industry. So I tend to schedule in times to play games with them while we're live because we're all over the place. So that's really the only time I get to hang out with industry friends. And then like with my mods, I tried to do mod nights for a while, but it just became chaotic for me because life doesn't like to agree with me in the evenings. And so I feel like I struggle so much in managing a lot of my friendships because I can't obviously play with everybody on stream. I can't play with all of my mods on stream because then no one's modding.
yeah.
Or whenever I get offline, as much as I desire to hop in Discord and talk to my community, I've been talking to you for 6 hours. I'm tired. And my family needs me at that point. And I don't know how else to work around it than what I'm doing now without burning myself out and not giving my family more time. Because I've already taken so much time from my family. So that's where I struggle a lot of times is friendships because I have to schedule friendship time. Like even you and I, thank God you're a very easy friend. Thank you. If y'all are easy people to be friends with, you the best. Thanks.
I am a very passive friend, and sometimes those are the best friends to have. You can go 6 months not talking to me and then send me a message and I'll respond when I have time. Yep. I don't require much from people.
If you are needy, I have noticed more and more I don't respond well anymore because I then feel very pressured, and it's like you don't understand the pressure I'm already under and you're adding to it. So at that point, that's a part of the self-care that is good for you is knowing where those limits are with certain relationships and where they might push you. Like I feel like at that point, if I feel pressure to talk to you or to have to play games with you or to have to hang out with you, at that point, that's toxic to me. That's no longer healthy. And I need to set those boundaries, and boundaries are a part of your management as well. So
I do think boundaries, I mean, we talked about boundaries a lot.
We have.
But I do think boundaries is a big thing to time management too. Like if you feel like you have to do XYZ or whatever, but you can't, then so many other things are falling apart. There's a Instagram account that I follow that she has the hashtag the rules are fake.
What's her? I'm
gonna know. And it's the LA Minimalist. I think it's just LA Minimalist, or is it the LA Minimalist?
Let me see. LA Minimalist. No, so it might be the.
Yep, the LA Minimalist. Her name is Annie, and she's just a breath of fresh air. She loves to have snack plates for every single meal because the rules are fake. She doesn't eat at noon. She might eat lunch at 3 and then have frozen pizza at 10:30 at night because the rules are fake.
They are. Have you heard about that? Like with sleeping and stuff? Like 8 hours is a construct and your body is naturally supposed to sleep in like 3 to 4 hour intervals.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like, that's
Huh.
what you would naturally do, but the world is so focused around, at this time, it's your only time to sleep because you gotta work through this time, that our bodies now don't do that as much, but it could be I've been thinking more and more about I wake up in, like, 3-hour intervals, and I never knew why. But it could be because my body needs to function for a bit, and then you go down for your nap for a little bit, and then you function more. I just don't have time for naps, which is the problem with those 3-hour
Yeah.
intervals.
I can tell when I definitely don't get a nap in. It's like
Mhm.
by 7 o'clock, I'm just done for.
Yeah,
And if I
same.
don't get a nap, then I'm done for the rest of the evening as well. So that's always frustrating. Mother Pepper said, I just had this conversation with my fiance last week. There's a friend who will message a lot to play, and I just don't have a lot of time. I don't like getting those messages because it feels like so much pressure and like I'm disappointing them, though I'm sure they don't intend for me to feel that way. So I check myself.
Yeah.
100%. I literally I was in the middle of a meeting yesterday when this happened. But I have a friend that she can only call me when she's on her drive home from work to pick up her kids. That is the time, so it's between like 3:30 and 4:30. That is the
Mhm.
time that I am scrambling to make sure that I can cut off my work time by 4:30.
I love
So it
that.
never works.
Mhm.
She's busy usually in the evenings with stuff for her kids, and then she hangs out with her husband after her kids go to bed. So I don't want to interrupt that time. And it's definitely hard to manage that friendship. I haven't even listened to her voicemail that she left since yesterday because I just know that as soon as I do, I'm going to feel sad and pressure
Yeah.
to figure something out. But right now, especially last night, we were on a really cool phone call. And then I had to immediately leave from that and go pick up Charlie and then come home and make dinner. And like everything I don't have time to just sit and be on the phone with somebody.
Same. I actually have, like, our specific magic word chat scheduled in, and I have it scheduled in for, like, at least an hour and a half just in case we just wanna talk.
Right. I
'Cause
have it
that's
scheduled
my
for
only
about I
time
have it
really with
scheduled for
you.
45 minutes on my
Mhm.
calendar, just so you know.
Yeah. No, I assume it's roughly, like, under an hour, but I
Yeah.
schedule it out just so I don't accidentally do
Schedule
something
something
else
else.
in
Yes.
case we get, like, vibing.
Yeah. In that, so that's a perfect example. I schedule time with you.
Mhm.
We have time and we'll talk throughout, like, throughout the week through social
Mhm.
media, but really how,
Little pings here and there.
yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, your outfit's cute. And oh, I hope that's fun. Or oh, that sucks kind of
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, you and we schedule stuff. Granted, it's for work, but when we don't have work, we just sit there and talk for like 30
Be
minutes.
real. Our work is fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It's sitting here and it's just like, all right, what do we want
Mhm.
to talk about? Okay, stop. We can't keep talking about it now because we won't have anything to talk about
Yeah.
when the
It
day
was
comes.
funny whenever we were like, "What do we talk about tomorrow? We have no idea." And Eric was like, "What about time management? Because that's what's wrong right now." I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, Sam, what do you feel about this?
that's
We
exactly
can
it.
we can babble away." Worked great. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate you, honey.
you.
Because we
I
were like,
told Ben that,
"Uh-huh."
and he's just like, "That's so smart."
Yeah. He was like, "That's fine. I get it."
Yeah. As I'm
It
sitting
was.
here and my anxiety, I'm like, I have 25 minutes until this launch goes live. I can't do anything else but stare at
That's
my
so exciting,
conversation with my
though.
team.
So what do y'all do with launches? Like, how do you manage that? Do you have things that you have
Well, I
ready to
mean,
push out content-wise,
you guys
or
already know the drama of the crate
yeah.
being sent back to China, right? So like this was
Does the
supposed to
does our community know, or was it just us or me?
no, I talked about it
I
on
never I
Discord.
can never remember
Yeah, I
what
talked about
is
it on
public
Magic Word.
knowledge.
I told the story because I was
Gotcha.
crying because I was laughing so hard. It was supposed to happen in the middle of May, end of April, middle of May at the latest. And now we're almost to the beginning of July. And that's how far behind we got. And so, how do you manage time for stuff like that? Don't know.
It just
Because
happens. I
it's
feel like some
so,
things are just like a ball in the wind. Hope it
yeah.
lands somewhere nice.
And that's, I think, the biggest part of my anxiety is there was a time maybe like a month ago that I just broke down. Um,
Yeah.
because so many things were placed on me that were out of my control that I couldn't manage. I'm an excellent manager. That is
Mhm.
something that I've always been
Yeah,
really
you
good
are.
at. my dad and my mom always being entrepreneurs and having their own businesses growing up, I knew no different. I don't know how to take orders from people very well because in my brain, I know how I would do it. And I have a fairly high success rate on managing things. So when I get brought in like late for something, or if I am brought in, I'm like, hey, this is how it's going to go. And I'm just there to be a worker bee. It's very hard for me that I almost am like, can I be like a managing worker bee?
Yeah.
Like, can I have
feel
a team
that.
beneath my team?
Are you a type A? Type
I'm
A, yeah.
not though.
What are you?
I don't know. I don't know.
You think you're like limbo?
I'm
I feel
kind
like
of
I'm a type A with work, but a type B with friends.
I'm a chameleon.
Ooh, we like.
I can become so many different things when needed. If I need to be badass boss bitch, then I'll do it. If I need to take a back seat, it'll be hard, but I'll
Same. There's moments I'm like, I welcome the backseat, but then I still want to like reach forward and be like, this
yeah,
way.
be like, you should really go here.
Mhm. Oh, it'd be nice if you could shave off 5 minutes by taking this street.
Yeah. Literal backseat driver.
Yeah.
But don't put me in the
What?
backseat because I'll get sick and puke.
Same. I also have motion sickness.
That's what okay, side
Sorry.
tangent.
Yes.
We're good. We're super good at side tangents. I'm going into this one. I
Do it.
used to fly freaking airplanes. I can't sit in the back seat of a car for more than 15 minutes now.
Ugh.
My brother had a colostomy bag that we
Okay.
have to clean out.
Mhm.
I can't even like touch cat poop without feeling like I'm gagging. Like, I don't know what's going on in my body as I'm getting older, but my ability to maintain composure is just not the same anymore. And it's so frustrating. When we went to go see my dad, we drove somewhere that you could drive a golf cart through these mountains and into these caves and stuff like that. And it was
A golf cart?
yes, it was so cool. It was like this whole track that you could follow. The guy that owns Bass Pro Shops, he has a really big like resort type place in Branson, and it's called Top of the Rock. And it's literally very top of the rock. It's a big golf course. One day a sinkhole happened and ate up half of the golf course. But then they have like this whole guided tour thing where you can drive a golf cart through caves and stop and look at all these man-made waterfalls. And he just made it amazing. We're driving there and I'm feeling sick. But we got there and I felt better. And I was like, maybe I just needed to eat something. I ate. We had a drink. We let our food settle before we got back into the car. I sprinted out of the car as soon as we got home, ran into the bathroom,
Oh no.
and threw up $150 worth of steak.
That's the worst feeling whenever you get sick after eating, because I constantly think about, wow, that's money wasted. Like, it's not even that.
It was like a $20 meal at Applebee's or something like that, but it was a $150 steak.
Even then, like, I get nauseous after like eating fast food. I'm like, oh no, I could have used that $8 for something else.
Right? Oh my gosh! And
could have gone to my gas tank.
I'm all about spending money for good food because it's such a full body experience. But anyways, neither here nor there. I don't know how we got into this topic, but
I don't know. We're doing great.
Why we wait for my anxiety to go down? Okay, store is going to go live at blank time.
So in 20 minutes, right? Right?
Yeah. Yep. In 20 minutes. I can't say anything else because then. Anyways, tell me about the book you've been reading.
The Subtle Art of Not Giving. It has been an experience, to say the least. So I've constantly heard you talk about it, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I resonate with that. I'm so glad you said that. And now, like, reading it, I want to like rip out every single line, because every single line has its own like significance to it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that one digs into my soul. Wait, no, that one's digging into my soul. All right, hold up. Turn the volume down. This whole page is disgusting.
So you took a picture on Instagram and underlined a certain line that really sat with you. And I have never owned, I've read the book and I've listened to the audiobook multiple times a year. I've never
Uh-huh.
owned a copy of it. So I immediately
Oh.
went and bought both copies after seeing you do that because I want to go through and highlight it too.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm an underliner and highlighter, and, like, I like to delve into every single meaning behind stuff, and I had to buy hardcover because, like, paperback, you don't get me. So, there's just something about a hardcover.
Right. I did get the
So
paperback. I got the two box set because he has the
there's 2?
yeah, there's a book called Everything is Fucked, and it's a book about hope.
Which one's supposed to be first?
The subtle art.
Okay, so
Yeah, the
I
other
have
one's a
something
blue
else.
book. I enjoyed it like
Mhm.
7 out of 10, with subtle art being like 50 million out of 10.
Yeah,
There's
and
a
it
big
is,
difference
it
between
really
book 1 and
is.
book 2.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. Yeah, so I'm not very far into it. I would say I'm probably 25% through because I really have been wanting to just take my time because each paragraph is something significant. And reading it at the start, I was like, I feel like I'm having a crisis.
Yeah, you do the whole entire time you read it.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Have you
Why?
gotten to the
Wait,
section? I don't know where it is in the book, but have you gotten to the section about not defining yourself by great things?
no, no,
Okay.
not yet. Ooh,
That
oh,
one's a
great.
super
That
big
was gonna hurt.
that one is a very big controversial thing that a lot I went on a podcast and talked
Oh.
about this book a lot. It just came up in conversation. I don't even think that my episode came out because myself and the host were so polar opposite on my opinion on this book.
Do you recall, like, what the phrasing was?
Yes.
'Cause
Yeah,
I
it's
wanna
not really
know.
a spoiler.
I
I
it's
mean,
not like a spoiler, yeah,
yeah.
it's fine.
Don't define yourself by extraordinary things because then you are constantly reaching to be that extraordinary thing when you have so many extraordinary things already to define yourself by. You're a mother, you're a wife, you're a friend, you are a content creator. But you might want to be like, well, I want to be the number one female content creator on Twitch. Then you are going to.
I don't think I do, actually.
Let's just say we're using you
Yeah.
as an example. You want to
Okay.
be bigger than Pokimane. That's cool to have a goal, but if that's what you define yourself as,
Mhm.
or if you define yourself as, I can't remember the examples that he had. They're better examples than my examples, but then you're constantly feeling like you're not good enough.
Is it, like, titles? So, like, if you say, like, "I'm an actor," or "I'm a host," or things like that?
Not even that. Man, I really.
Or, like, what so, like, I'm a surrogate, and I think that that was extraordinary and is a
I
big
think
part of
that's a
who I
perfect thing to
am.
define yourself by because you have reached that. You are already there. You are already a thing.
Oh.
So if you're like, I'm going to be a world renowned scientist or I'm going to be a Nobel Peace Prize winner, cool. Like make that a goal, but don't be like, my name is Sam and one day I'm going to be a Nobel Peace Prize winner.
So it's like, don't define before you've reached, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Or
Let me
achieved or
I'm
something.
not giving. All I have to type is subtle, and then it autofills because
'Cause
I've looked this.
I
book up
guess,
so
like,
much.
what I'm trying to figure out y'all's differences is why would you actually, hang on. It's like you wanna be proud of those things,
Yeah, I'm
but I
trying to
really
find.
don't go out and define myself as like, "Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm a wife," you know? Because
Yeah.
at that point, that's just, like, a part of who I am, that's not, like
Okay, so I'm
I
going
don't
through
know.
chapter by chapter, like the bullet points and the
Okay,
feedback loop from hell. Oh,
okay.
you already read that one if you're through chapter 1. You remember the feedback loop
Yeah.
from hell? Yeah.
Paper versus hardcover? Alright. If hardcover isn't, like, your favorite, why? You know how much damage you can get with a paperback all the time? Not only that, but trying to, like, after you've bent it for so long and making sure the cover actually stays down and, like, doesn't start opening up as soon as you set it down again, and it's hard to put back in a bookshelf because you gotta, like, hold it together to put it back in there. Like, no, 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 no. Hardcover or bust.
It's in chapter 3, I think.
Okay, so I'm not there yet.
Okay, chapter 3 is called You Are Not Special.
Okay.
And this is something that I butted heads with somebody for a lot. Person with actual high self-worth is able to look at the negative parts of his characters. Frankly, problem with entitlement. It's a little bit more about entitlement. Is it makes people need to feel good about themselves all the time, even at the expense of those around them. Entitlement is just another high that you get. The biggest thing for me is not everybody needs to have these entitlement titles
Yeah.
because we need everybody in society. So people that are like
Yeah.
I'm a janitor. Like that's the stereotypical thing, you know, I don't want to tell everybody that my dad's the janitor at high school. And like cuz that's you see that in movies often and stuff like that.
Yeah. That comes with like comparing yourself then at
Yeah.
that point and
We need
constantly wanting to
janitors.
be them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
define yourself as a janitor because cool, you're doing something for society.
No, and you're absolutely right with that. Because this, just with any industry or workspace or things like that, every single person is necessary. Like if you are not the janitor, who else is going to have to clean things? And sure, some jobs may be underappreciated, which is frustrating, but without you, things couldn't really go on
All right, so
or
it
function
is
well.
chapter 3. So when you get there,
Okay.
then you can
Okay.
call back this conversation. If I
Okay.
am not going to be special, what's the point? It has become an accepted part of our culture to believe that we are all destined to do something extraordinary. We tell kids that
Yeah.
they can be whatever they want to be. But if everyone were extraordinary, then by definition, no one is extraordinary. Most people are afraid to accept mediocrity because they believe that if they accept it, they'll never achieve anything and their life won't matter. This thinking is dangerous. If you accept the premise that life is worthwhile only when it's notable and great, you also accept the fact that most of the human population is worthless. Most people that become
Yeah.
great do so not because they think they are exceptional, but because they are obsessed with improvement. That obsession with improvement comes from the belief that they are not great at all. The knowledge and acceptance of your own mundane existence will liberate you to accomplish what you truly wish to accomplish without judgment or lofty expectations.
Yeah. Nail on the head.
And that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I
You
guess
ordered
that
both books,
also
okay, good.
stems from people not wanting to accept extraordinary things that they've already done. Like if I were to die today, I would be quite satisfied with what I've done in life.
Yeah,
I think
not
I've done some
accepting the
extraordinary things.
right. Like if you're like, I want to be a host for a specific TV show, and that's the only way that I know that my life will have meaning and that I have accomplished something. Okay, well then you just basically said the rest of your life is worthless because you
Yeah,
haven't
like I
accomplished that one thing.
I literally gave babies to families.
Yeah.
I think that that's like cherry on the top of everything else I've done still to this date.
People usually just can't accept that it's okay to live your day-to-day life. And that can be just as extraordinary because it might not be extraordinary to you, but you might be extraordinary to someone else.
That is something that I have been trying to learn. Still to this day.
I
Like, when
mean,
it comes to the industry, whenever people, come into your chat or tell you later and just like, "You helped me through this,"
mhm,
it does help remind you and ground you and what you are doing is good, even if you're not progressing toward, like, the big goal that you want.
yeah.
So, I think that that's something that a lot of people forget, me included. So thank y'all who do reminders. I appreciate it.
That's why like I know I'm great.
The thing is, I'm not that confident yet. I'm always working on it.
I'm confident in
So,
majority of the way of in majority of my life. There's certain things. I know my personality is great to the point that sometimes I am slightly cocky about it. I know
I
that
love your
I
personality.
I know that I am a great friend. I know that I am a hard worker. Obviously, yeah, I still have insecurities. I have insecurities in making sure that I take care of people in the right way or that I love people in
Mhm.
the right way. I have insecurities about my body because I'm human. And but at the same time, like I know that I look pretty badass because I put in a hell of a lot of work to make
Me
myself look
too.
that way.
Holy.
So it just definitely it's a mind shift because I was raised to think that I'm amazing and I'm special and one of a kind and no one is just like me. And while that is true, that made me feel like when people didn't give me the that feeling of value that I needed because that's what I was told that I am,
Yeah.
I just felt like I was worthless. That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been reading a lot of like if you don't know me yet, I'm an insane people pleaser, which is where a lot of my issues stem from. But I've been getting better about saying no. It's baby steps, but it's the same with where my time management goes. As much as I desire to do things with people, there are moments I'm just like, no, I can't. I can't. Or taking on sponsorships. Sometimes I really just want to play this game instead. Different meetings. Thankfully, I now have a team that can do the meetings for me and I don't always have to be in there. And that also is from like my type A. It's like saying no to myself in a way and breaking my bad habits of needing to be in absolute control, which don't get me wrong, I love being in control. Who doesn't want to be in control of their life? But there are moments where I need to let that go and let people handle it as well. It sucks.
It does.
trying
Sometimes
to like relearn things.
It really sucks.
Yeah.
Have a great night and yada yada yada. Okay, bye.